Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome to Sunday afternoon DOOGER. Let me know if the music is too loud or not loud enough. Thank you for thanking me for watching ads, but I would like to say that I am not getting any. So, ads are funny because, depending on where you live and the time of year, you will get more, less, or no ads. So, yeah, it depends on, like, in the country you're in, like the region that you're in. So ads are regional, right? That's why if you go to a different country for fun or for work, the ads on YouTube will suddenly be in German, right? Like they're regional. So depending on the region you're in, our company's buying ad space. And if they're not buying a ton of ad space, you won't really get as many ads. But also around Christmas time, you might feel like, Jesus Christ, I'm getting so many ads. And that's because a lot of companies are trying to sell stuff around Christmas. So it all depends. It seems like only links are buying ads. Jane Valentine, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, guys. Sometimes I get German ads when I'm not in Germany. I don't know what to tell you, man. Do you VPN? Are you VPNing? That might explain some of it. But who knows? Who knows, really? Sam versus Wasps, too. Yeah. Imagine my face when in the middle of Geekenders, my kid is knocking on the door. I go to see what's going on with her, and she's like, hey, we found a wasp's nest, but daddy can't stand with me because he's trying to deal with it with auntie, so can I stand with you? And I was like, well, I'm on a thing right now, but I will come to see what the fuck is going on. Sure. So this was Friday, right? So it's Sunday now. So on Friday, I come around the corner to Sam trying to drown them. They're in the ground. So he's trying to just fill the hive up with water. He is successful and then decides, in case some of them live, I'll put a basket on top. So if you've seen pictures of a basket full of wasps, that's why. Because a bunch of them lived through that and are now trapped in a basket. So Sam and I were talking about it because I was like, chickens eat wasps. I don't know that I want to sick the chickens on a swarm of wasps. I think that's a bad idea, but they will eat wasps. And more importantly, they will eat the larva, right? So you could kill all of the living wasps, but if you leave the hive alone, new ones will just hatch, right? So Sam was like, okay, here's the plan. We're gonna kill all of the wasps that are alive in and around the basket. I don't know how he's gonna do that. That's not my job. And then we dig up the hive and give it to the chickens. That's the plan. Are there still a bunch of wasps in a basket? Yeah. So I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for the chicken thing to happen. Because that's my part. That's my part of the whole thing. It's 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock in the afternoon for me. We just had lunch. It was not particularly healthy. Gotta be real with you. Yeah, Sam was like, do you think that we could just suck them into the Henry? And I was like, yeah, but then what's gonna keep them in the Henry? Like, why can't they just fly back out of the tube? Are we hoping that they just die from the whirlwind of being sucked into the vacuum cleaner? He was workshopping ideas last night on stream. You know what? That's fine. The Henry Hoover. The only vacuum cleaner that I've ever been consistently delighted with. I will never tell someone to buy a really expensive vacuum cleaner ever. Just get a Henry, dude. If you can get a Henry Hoover, holy shit. That guy truly works his ass off. Yeah, I saw the video. Someone posted a clip of Sam with Cindy in his office, and I immediately messaged him, like, why are the chickens still out? How did the chickens get out? I already put the chickens away. Why is Cindy in your office? And he was like, oh, well, it was still light outside, so I let them back out. And I was like, but it's dark now. He was like, yeah, I put them away. I put them away, I promise. I was like, okay. Okay. Is the Dyson not worth it? So our Dyson stopped working properly after about a year. We've had the Henry. We've had our Henry Hoover for 3.5 years now. Works like the day we bought it. They're not flashy, but the entire thing can come apart. You can clean the entire thing. It all can get pulled apart into its basic bits. You can clean all of it, put it back together, easy peasy. And it sucks. Like, it goes for it, man. Every other vacuum I've ever had, at some point when I'm vacuuming, I'm like, why are we not picking up anything? What is going on? I've never asked that with Henry Hoover in my life. Sorry about what I said on Geekenders. I hadn't slept in 22 hours. You don't have to apologize. Also, hi, Octo. I would recommend get a Henry or a Henry Hoover adjacent thing. They work great. I love it. They exist outside of the UK? I don't know. But he's basically just a little shop vac. You could get a little shop vac and probably experience the same thing. But I think shop vacs, with the name included here, you know, in America, shop vacs are much more associated with, like, that's the vacuum that you use in the garage, right? That's the vacuum that you use at your weird industry job, not the vacuum you use in your living room. But Henrys are basically just little shop vacs. The Super Cousin time happened last night and the VOD was deleted or something? No. You mean on Friday? No, there was a whole lot going on behind the scenes, and we wound up agreeing not to do it. Because Thierry was caught up doing a family errand and was like, "Hey, I'm running really late." It was nearly midnight for me. One of the animals on the farm has gone missing. So I had at that point been looking for an animal in the dark for like 4 hours. And I was like, I gotta be real with you. If we're not starting until midnight, I need to sleep. So, yeah. I've now bought a thermal camera to see if it will help. Everyone else seems to have given up, which I think is crazy. Like, at the very least. Anyways, so I bought a thermal camera so that I can give it a last try at least. And also it would be nice to have that because that way we can check places for rats. So I figured it was worth it to get it anyway. But yeah. It is a reptile, unfortunately, which I think is why everybody's like, a thermal camera isn't going to do much. But from what I can tell, they still absorb heat. They are cold-blooded, but they want to be near warm things, number one. And they still absorb some heat and retain it when they're coiled up, right? So I was like, it's still worth a try. It's still worth a try. So, yeah. Yeah, the one I got has a bunch of like adjustments you can make to how the heat signatures are showing up and stuff. So I was like, I'll watch like a tutorial on how to use it properly. Because originally we were using there's a thermal camera on the sight scope. So we were trying to use that, but it is not accurate. It feels really inaccurate. So I was like, I'm just going to get something that's literally just a thermal camera because I feel like it'll probably be better. And so far it seems leagues better. Yes, that was the other thing that I said to Sam was I was like, I think it would be good for us to have one of these because then we can check what areas of the house are leaking heat. Because I suspect it's many places. Anyways, so that was what was going on Friday. Well, and is still going on. Yeah. So I've been playing around with grease paint to make the tips of my fingers green because the tips of Mushy's fingers are green. And if you'll recall, I'm trying to take pictures of my hands for Mushy, right? Can you tell that one of my fingers is meant to be green? Because I don't feel like this grease paint shows up on camera very well. And I don't know if I should just make it thicker. It is this one, yeah. But it's not green enough. It's not green enough. But I've tried 3 different ones, and so far none of them show up on camera very well. If I could just dye them for a few days. I thought about it. I was like, there are ways to make my fingers really green and have it stay that way for a while. I'll try other methods first, but it should be green, not like rainbow green, but like you should look at my fingers and go, oh, the tips of those fingers are green, right? Adjust them in a video editor. That sounds like a pain in the ass. I'm going to be playing, just peeking behind the curtain a little bit here. I'm going to be playing around with them moving occasionally. So I can't just Photoshop them. But I also don't want to do like the frame by frame adjustment of them in a video editor. It seems like I will be making this a lot easier on myself if I just figure out how to make the tips of my fingers green. If I wanted to do it the cosplay way, I would get like nylon gloves and then dye the tips of the gloves. But I'm worried that they're going to show up, that it's going to be clear that I'm wearing gloves in the pictures. It might still be worth a try. But I figure if I could make it so that my actual fingertips were green, that seemed like the simplest option. Can also do body paint. That's what this is. That's what these are. This is body paint. Anyways, there's still stuff to try. I've just been trying to see if I could make body paint, grease paint work. What about more body paint? Now we're talking. Little swarm in here. It was not swarm in my house, but it's very warm in the office. Did Sam finish the Uma Musume anime? I have no idea. You thinking green like the bottom of your mug? Like this? Not that dark. No. I don't know how to describe the green. When I find it, then I'll be delighted. Did you ever get to talk to Amy about Magic the Gathering Arena? Yeah. Yeah, we talked about it a bunch. I think that's what Tully was telling me to do. Is use hair dye and just be like, I guess my fingers are just green for a while. How's the weather? Overcast. Overcast, but still like decently warm. Ever since I came back, I was talking about how whenever I leave town, when I come back, I see all of the, like, I see my house with new eyes, right? And I don't know. I guess because a couple of different stressful things have happened, I've been channeling that stress into trying to fix some of those areas. And it's been great. It's actually been so great. Very, very proud of a couple areas of my house right now. The rest of it's a nightmare, but those two areas that I've done so far, have never looked better. Yeah, like the area that we do laundry, when I'm not doing well up here, it's a nightmare in there. And I always feel so guilty because, not because I feel guilty that I exclusively am not doing laundry, but because like I'm trying to help Clark learn how to do life skills. And one of the things that she knows how to do is laundry, but because Sam and I let it like pile up sometimes to the point where it's hard to even use the the laundry area. Like, that's not on you, kid. That's us. That's us. We're not creating a situation where it's easy for you to like put these skills into practice, right? So I was like, I'm gonna tackle the laundry room. And every time I say something like that out loud, Sam's like, well, don't do it by yourself. Just wait and we can do it together. And then I don't know what it is about that phrase that like activates something in me. But whenever he's like, just wait and we'll do it together, I immediately do it. I don't know if there's like a part of me that wants to prove like, no, I can do it by myself. But every time he's like, just wait. It's a big job. We'll do it together. I'm like, guess fucking what, honey? It's done. Anyway, so the laundry is good now. I'm really delighted with it. This is the part that I'm really proud of, okay? I have my entire life been a whatever's going on behind that appliance is none of my business sort of person. You know, when people are like, when's the last time you moved your fridge? You should really be vacuuming behind your fridge. And everyone's like, that's not my business. I was like, I'm going to move the washer and dryer and see what's back there. Oh my God. We've only lived here 2 years. What the fuck was going on back there? But I moved them and I cleaned it. And I feel really good about it. I think because I was watching a video that was about like things that can affect how well your washer and dryer are working. And our washer has gotten the like filter trap has gotten clogged so many times that it's like leaked water before. And I was like, I don't like the idea that there might be mold or something back there that I just don't realize is starting to grow that needs to be taken care of. Like if I just leave that alone and say that's not my business, when it's nobody else's business, so it's gotta be mine, right? Like I need to just move them and make sure everything's okay back there. And it was. It was just a lot of dust, cobwebs, whatever. And I was like, yikes. But no mold. I was happy with that. I'm literally hooving right now, but I ain't moving appliances. I'm not ready for that. That's fair. That's fair. So, yeah. Just trying to deal with stuff. You know? I think I was saying on stream, I cleaned the kitchen really well before we left. And I was like, good job, me. Now I'll come home. When we come home from this trip, I'll be like, At least the kitchen is like sparkling. We got home and I was like, what the fuck is going on with this kitchen? Because I couldn't see it properly. You live there, you don't see it, right? I needed the windshield wipers. I came home and I was like, why is all of this over here? Why do I still have so many boxes in this corner? Like, what is going on in here? So I dealt with all that. I feel better about it now. Imagine if you didn't clean before you left, bro. Miserable. Miserable. But I've been thinking the same thing about like my kid's room. Right? When I was talking about the laundry thing and like she knows how to do laundry. We want her to get into the groove of like consistently doing her laundry, but we created a situation where that was not easy for her, and that's not fair, right? I feel the same way about her room. That she does not have what she needs in there to set her up for success, being able to like clean it, to know where things go. None of that, right? And she and I have been talking about it lately. I was talking about how she asked for like a homework space. She was like, I really want like a spot that's just the spot where I do my homework. And I was like, geez, I can't imagine young me being like, if only I had a place to do homework. Like, fuck, if my kid's asking for a place to do homework, like, yeah, let's do that, right? But also with her room, it's not like I can be like, hey, can you tidy up your room? Like I can, but a lot of things don't have homes, or like they just kind of float, right? So I want to help her fix that. But it's hard when you're bad at that just in general. Sam and I have the same problem. The second Sam and I are like, man, we should really like figure out what's going on with our room. We're like, but where does any of this shit go? It doesn't have a home. None of it has a home, you know? My nephew stopped playing Mario Kart with me because he wanted to do his homework. Maybe Gen Alpha's gonna be okay. Literally, we had like 4 giant boxes that bark dust for the chickens came in. And Clark was like, you can't get rid of those boxes. I was like, why? And she goes, because I have a homework project where I need to build a tutor house out of a box. I was like, I don't think they meant a life-sized tutor house, Clark. Like, I don't think they meant that you need gigantic boxes. I think they were thinking more like this. And she was like, yeah, but what if I made one that big? So we kept these 4 gigantic boxes for like a month and a half. Didn't wind up making the tutor house in its entirety, but like it was so the like Sam in her was like, but what if I went loud? Like what if I just took this project to the extreme for no reason? So funny. I also asked that. I was like, how are we gonna get this to school? Hi, Summer. Yes, please. Yeah. We gotta play ARAM. We gotta play more Date Everything. We have stuff on the docket, dude. Why do we climb the mountain? Because it is there. And why do we build a life-size tutor house? Because we have the boxes. Real. Is that a Bones coffee mug? No, actually, it's a Dodger Coffee Co. coffee mug, which you can also purchase at dodgercoffeeco.com. We also have our own beans, multiple different roasts, as well as teas. Please check them out. Thank you so much for your time. Play the ad video. Oh my God. Wait. Dodger coffee? Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, the infamous chunky milk ad. It's not chunky, it's just been foamed, and it was hard for them to pour the milk with cat paws. Cinema. You know it. We had a poster that was designed by Nick Terhorst in the store for a while. I don't know if it's still there, to be honest. Make Wednesday nights Wife Wednesday and take turns picking games. That would be very cute. Not me feeling 100% called out by the entirety of this stream. No! After not cleaning the house before vacation and now sitting in piles of laundry. No, Alex! It's nice to know it's not just me. I always try. And when I come back, I'm like, I didn't try hard enough. But at the time, I was like, I'm busting my ass to make sure that I give future me a great homecoming. Vacation was good, yeah. We got back on Monday. And then I took a couple days off because I was clearly getting sick. This is, knock on wood, cross fingers, etc. This is one of the rare times where I felt like I was getting sick for like 5 days, 4 or 5 days, and suddenly feel fine. And I'm like, does this mean I'm about to get really sick, or does this mean that I fought it off properly? Because it could be either. It could be either. We'll just have to see. But the trip went great. Disney World is extremely overwhelming. If you've only been to Disneyland in your life, which I had, you've only been to Disneyland and you're like, maybe I'll try out Disney World. Be aware, it is a completely different beast. It is a totally different experience than going to Disneyland, because Disneyland is like, you go there for 1 or 2 days and basically see everything. Everything is walkable. There's one parking lot for the whole thing, right? Like it's not overwhelming the way that Disney World is. And the reason that Disney World is overwhelming is because there's like 5 separate parks that are all considered part of Disney World. They all have their own parking lots. They are separate. They are separate parks. It was a lot. It was too much, honestly. But I feel like if we went back, I would have a better idea of how to tackle it, you know? Hi, Amy! It made Disney vacations too complicated. Yeah, I think maybe Disney World was like achievable back before they started min-maxing how to make people buy lightning passes and all that bullshit. But like we had a good time. We just left being like, we really did not do everything that we planned on doing. And it became clear to me why Sam and I were miscommunicating about that. Not miscommunicating, but like, I was like, yeah, we're going to go for 3 days. And he was like, 3 days? That's not enough. Again, had only been to Disneyland. I was like, why would we need more than 3 days? He was like, there's just too much to do. And I couldn't conceptualize an amusement park situation where you needed more than 3 days. I was like, that's not real. Like, that's crazy to me. 3 days is fine. 3 days, if I was 7, like my child is, if I was 7, I think after 3 days I would start to crash real bad, right? I was like, I don't want to be going for full days of Disney for more than 3 days with a 7-year-old. It's not gonna go well. So here's what I've learned. For anybody who's like, I want to go to Disney World, here's what I've learned, okay? Don't plan to do everything. Unless you're in the sort of position where you're like, you know what? The whole family's just gonna go to Florida for a couple of weeks. And we're not gonna go to Disney every day. We're gonna do other stuff in Orlando or at the beach or whatever. And we're gonna, you know, kind of leisurely do the Disney experience. Great. If you're like Sam and I, and you're like, we've got a week, we've got like 5 days, right? What are we doing? You won't get through it all. You just won't. And if you're determined to, you are going to spend an insane amount of money on lightning passes. Okay, so just, do you have the time or do you have the money? You need one of those. If I was going to tell you, if you were like, okay, I don't really give a shit about going to all 5 parks, which parks should I go to? I think that depends on who's with you and what they care about and what they like. You know, I was talking with one of Clark's friends' moms who was like, oh my God, I love Disney World because I love the water park. We did not go to the water park. We had no interest, but she was like, the water park's my favorite part, right? So depending on who you are, what age of children you have with you, all of these things, you might make different decisions about where you want to spend your time. For Clark, for having a 7-year-old, the 2 parks that did gangbusters for us, Magic Kingdom, you're not shocked. The Magic Kingdom and Epcot. We could have just done Magic Kingdom and Epcot with those 3 days, and she would have been like, that was the fucking coolest thing we've ever done. Nothing else was necessary, honestly. We did not need to do anything else. What was her favorite ride? The Seven Dwarves roller coaster. She was dipping her toes into roller coasters on this trip. She's never successfully been on a roller coaster and enjoyed herself. She went on a few roller coasters that she liked. She also went on a couple of roller coasters that she did not like, that were not okay, that were too much. Seven Dwarves was the perfect roller coaster for her. It was a little bit fast. It was a little bit jank ball, but it had like fun story elements in it. We also did Space Mountain, and she really liked that, despite the fact that every person who goes on Space Mountain walks away with whiplash. Space Mountain is just cool, you know? And I think that's why when we got out at Epcot, they have a Guardians of the Galaxy ride that is just, dare I say, better Space Mountain. It's better Space Mountain. It is Space Mountain, but with modern technology, right? And it's so fucking good. So I was like, I can't wait until Clark's like 9 or 10 years old, because she will love that ride. But right now it's too much. Right now I think it would be too much. But she loved Space Mountain. But we took her on like, our friend's son that we were there with, he loves dinosaurs. So he was like, I want to go on the dinosaur roller coaster. He's the same age as Clark, right? So we all go on the dinosaur roller coaster. This was the point at which we learned that it behooves you to look up every single ride online and see what people say about what age of people should go on that ride. The dinosaur ride is entirely, can we scare the shit out of you with dinosaurs? That's the whole ride. All three kids, including the 10-year-old, were sobbing at the end of dinosaurs. Because there is not a single moment that they're like, we're just riding a roller coaster and looking at fun dinosaurs. It doesn't do like the Indiana Jones thing. I feel like Indiana Jones has some moments that feel a bit more chill. We didn't ride Indiana Jones, by the way. I don't think Indiana Jones is at Disney World. It doesn't matter. So, yeah. Like, there were no chill moments in dinosaurs. The entire time it was dark and they were just jump scaring you with dinosaurs. The entire thing. So fortunately, Sam was sitting up front with the kids. So both Clark and the little boy were like tucked into him, sobbing. And then the 10-year-old, her mom was covering her eyes from behind because there was no one for her to hug. It was so sad. I was like, that ride sucked. That ride really sucked for kids. Like, that's not okay. So, but again, at that point we were like, okay, every ride we're going to go on, we are going to double check, like, what age do people think that this ride is appropriate for? And that was really helpful going forward. We made an assumption about dinosaurs. We were like, surely the dinosaur ride will be fun. No. No. So, yeah, it was bad. Clark really wanted to go on the Haunted Mansion. But because we had at that point been on 2 different rides that scared the shit out of everybody, the other one being the Yeti roller coaster, they were like, what is the Haunted Mansion like? And I was like, I gotta be real with you. When I came to Disney as like a 6-year-old, I think I was 6. When I came to Disneyland as a 6-year-old, I sobbed through all of Haunted Mansion. That being said, I did not open my eyes once. The second we walked in and it was slightly spooky, I decided I was out. And I just closed my eyes and cried for the rest of the ride. But since I've been on it a few times now, I was like, I can describe to you exactly what this ride is like, and you guys can make an informed decision about whether or not you want to do it. So the little boy decided he didn't want to. He was worried it was going to be scary. But both of the girls wanted to do it. So we're like, all right, we'll make sure that each of you has a grown-up that you trust, that you can sit with. And bless her, the 10-year-old wanted to be with me. So I was like, I'm going to take this responsibility very seriously. So when we like sat in the thing, she was fully like curled up with me the whole time. And she would ask me how they did different things. Because I was trying to explain to them like Pepper's ghosts and things like that. And I was like, yeah, some of them are like projections. And because they wanted to know. They were like, how do they make the ghosts, right? And there's a section in the Haunted Mansion where they point you at a mirror and show you, and it looks like a ghost is either in the ride with you or riding on your thing with you. And then the narrator voice is like, remember, you're taking a ghost home with you, right? And she was like, that's not real, right? We're not really taking a ghost with us, right? I was like, we're not, I promise, I promise. So yeah, I was trying to make it fun. When we got out, she was like, that was okay. I was all right. Like, okay. Anyway, we had a good time. And we spent a couple days at the beach. And all of the adults, despite all of us consistently putting on sunscreen, all of the adults got burnt somewhere. And all of the kids were totally fine. Kids did not get burnt at all. I was so pleased. Like, if someone's gonna get burned, it might as well be the adults, right? But like, we were really meticulous because their family especially is pasty. So we were like, we need to make sure every like hour and a half to 2 hours we are reapplying. We don't want anyone getting burned. And somehow all of the grown-ups got burnt. Like, clearly we were lathering it on the kids and just kind of like flippantly doing ourselves. Yeah, Erin's good. I was asking her about her second book. She's been kind of like slowly working on it. Kids are immune to most damage. Not psychological. Sun damage, maybe. Psychological damage from the dinosaurs ride? Absolutely not. When Angie was last over and the sun shone, she burned instantly. Oh, poor Angie. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would love for her to be able to do her second book. I think it would be like good for her, you know? I rode that dinosaur ride as a kid and it definitely fucked me up. I had no idea it was gonna be scary, man. I thought it was gonna be like informative about dinosaurs. And it was not. One of my sisters got the most hilarious sunburn when we were little because she had been wearing a Pokemon tattoo for the rest of the summer. She had a Golbat silhouette on her arm. I love that. That's like back when tanning beds were big. Shout out to the millennials. Back when tanning beds were big, they would have stickers in there so that you could put like a little heart sticker on yourself and tan everywhere but where the sticker was. And have like a tiny little heart somewhere. Epcot's tight. Epcot was my favorite for burp for sure. But why? Because it was all like rides that would kick you out into experiences. So like there's a Finding Nemo ride. And when you get off the ride, you get off into an aquarium. And there was a ride called Living Off the Land that showed just like tons of different ways to grow plants. And it took you rode through like their on-site gardens and stuff. It was so cool. A lot of it was like a combination of a ride and an activity or an experience afterwards, which I thought was so cool because a lot of it is very like science-based. Also, it is by far the easiest one to navigate because you get in there and it's basically a loop. So it's shaped like an 8. There's a big loop. And then on the bottom, if you want to do this part, on the bottom is a whole section that highlights different areas of the world. So there's like big circle. And then on the bottom, there's another little loop. So you can skip all that if you want and just do the circle. But you hit every single ride doing that, right? It's great. Oh, the Epcot is where the Frozen ride is, which is like a cuter version of Pirates of the Caribbean. Pirates of the Caribbean was one of my favorite Disneyland rides and still is. The Frozen ride at Epcot is basically Pirates of the Caribbean, except Frozen themed. And it was so cute. And the kids got off like, oh my God, that was so fun. Can we do that again? Like they loved it. It's really good. It's really good and it's long. The same way that when you're on Pirates of the Caribbean, you're like, man, this is a long ride. Like it's leisurely and you get splashed a tiny bit, but nothing feels scary. It's just nice. It was just nice. I loved it. The Frozen ride used to be called Maelstrom, and it was about Norway. Oh, interesting. I wonder how different it is. I mean, obviously, thematically, it would be deeply different. But I'm curious what the original ride was like. I bet there's videos of it. I listened to a theme park podcast because I know I could never get to these places. Have you been to a Disney anything before? Yeah, in that area is the Frozen ride and the Ratatouille ride, but the Ratatouille ride was closed. I really wanted to do it. No! Now I'm an adult with a nice strong spine and I go on every roller coaster. Hell yeah. They have it in Paris. The Ratatouille ride? Yeah, it's interesting it feels like we're in an in-between stage age-wise for our kid, because the last time she was at an amusement park type thing, even like big slides scared her. We tried like a little kid's roller coaster. She did not like it. We did like a high up slide thing and I went with her, did not like it, right? Like the thrill, the joy of a thrill, like a safe thrill, was not there yet. So it was interesting going with her at this age where she's like dipping her toe into stuff and figuring out what is fun for her and what isn't. She was our friends that we were there with were like, damn. She like, after we did the Yeti ride, because that scared the shit out of her, she was like, well, you know, there's a spot in your brain called the amygdala. And I was like, I did know about that. And she was like, so right now I have a lot of snapshots that come up that make me feel scared and unsafe. But if I can keep trying stuff like it, then I'll have more snapshots that don't make me feel unsafe. I was like, right. And she was like, because that part of my brain is meant to keep me from getting hurt. But it doesn't know that I'm safe when I am sometimes. And I was like, yeah, that's true. It's just trying to make sure that you don't do anything dangerous. She was like, yeah, so sometimes when I do things like go on big roller coasters, there's a part of me that thinks that I'm not safe. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. she was like really talking through like how she felt after this roller coaster. And they were like, man, she's really like doing a full introspective, you know, on like how she's feeling and what her brain is doing. And I was like, that's awesome. Honestly, that's so cool. Yeah, they learned about it at school. And she like really retained it, I guess. She was like, yeah, in school we were talking about like what the different parts of our brain do, and that we have a part of our brain that like is meant to keep us safe, but sometimes it makes us scared when we don't need to be scared. I was like, that's awesome that you remember that lesson. Like, that's really cool. Me talking to myself before work every day. I've had a lot of terrible days, and my brain is telling me today's gonna also be terrible, but it doesn't have to be. I've been there. She's not going to that school anymore because she reached like the terminal age, basically. It like stops. The school she was at stopped in year 2. So she's graduated out. But one of the things that Sam and I always really appreciated about that school was that they felt very strongly that if you teach kids about and pay a lot of attention to like the emotional health of the kids, that they will be in a place where they are more receptive to learning. They talked about that all the time, like every parent teacher conference, everything. They wanted to really hammer home, like, we try to pay a lot of attention to teaching kids about their brains and their bodies, and you know, how to resolve conflicts, and you know, how to be more emotionally intelligent and all of these things, because if they feel like they can tackle those things, then learning is easy, right? Like approaching learning feels less scary. And I feel like moments like that make me go, I think maybe they weren't bullshitting that. Like she really clearly has retained like a lesson or maybe multiple lessons that were about like how our brain reacts to stuff, you know? Yeah, so who knows? I mean, hopefully the school she's kicked into now isn't like, fuck brains, sit down and learn math. We'll see, you know? We got to meet her teacher though, and her teacher seemed very sweet. A green flag for me was that she was like, oh, Clark said that she prefers to be called Clarky. like, you know, so I told all of the kids that whatever name they would prefer to be called, that I would take note of that. But I just wanted you to know that she had told me that. And I was like, yeah, I mean, whatever she says she feels most comfortable with you calling her, do that, right? But I just thought it was a green flag that she asked each of the kids, like, how do you want me to, you know, what name do you want me to use for you? Referred to me as Superman in emergencies. Yeah. I love imagining that though, right? Being like, what would you like me to call you? And a kid being like, Batman. Being like, okay, well, I'll talk with your parents about that. But at around age 8, the amygdala undergoes a major growth phase. If sustained trauma occurs during these phases, it can prevent the amygdala from growing properly, leading to anxiety disorders. That's very interesting. I know that like a lot of, I'm not a doctor. Establishing that now. I know that there are a lot of like personality disorders and things. They say the nugget, right, that blooms into that is usually like early childhood based. Anyways, not a doctor. Not a doctor. Inimamak? I don't know if I spelled. I was gonna say spelled. I don't know if I pronounced that properly, but welcome to the Cat Gang. Thank you so much. Almost didn't do the sign for it. Fun fact is I think there's a Batman villain called Amygdala. There should be. Batman has so many villains, man. I hate to do this. We're only an hour in, but I have to pee so bad. Probably because I've been chugging coffee. I will be right back. Go pee, grab a drink, take your pills if you need to. I'll be back in a minute.
Hello.
I'm back. I peed. You'll be delighted to know. Someone was like, I saw ripped up gloves. What year is it? I know, man. Again, trying to find good mushy gloves. I unironically love these though. You know when like people buy things because young them really wanted that thing? Young me really wanted ripped up gloves. Young me really wanted these. So old me is like, they're so cool. No, the platform boots that Kiwo linked me to insist that they cannot be shipped to the United Kingdom. And Kiwo's like, they'll ship to me and I am in the United Kingdom. So what is the issue? Who knows? Very odd, right? But it's fine. One day I'll get my platform boots. What is that? A bug? No. What the fuck? What is that? Okay, lint. That's what I thought it was. How are the wasps? I don't. My job is to feed the larvae to the chickens after he's killed the wasps. So until he's like, guess what, babe? Wasps are dead. Not my business. Are you excited to record the bee suit dig? Sure. Whatever that is. Yeah, totally. So you'll keep baby bugs? So you'll kill baby bugs? 100%. I will feed the hive to my chickens, yeah. With a clear conscience. I have nothing against wasps, if we're being totally honest. I have nothing against them. I don't want them right next to my house where my kid plays. So yeah, I will feed their entire family to my chickens. Oh, mice don't live long either. We've had mice come into our house and Watson immediately is like, I'm gonna get that. How long has Dodger owned that beanie? It's like a family heirloom. Sam was like, is it beanie season already? Shut up. I just like it, okay? There was a period of time last winter, I think, where I wore this beanie so much that Sam was like, I don't even remember what your hair looks like anymore. It's just comfy. It's just a comfy hat. That's all. High times. Beanies and hats make my head itch. Wigs. I love wigs. It does not take long for me to be like, head itches. I bestow the family beanie unto you. Clark, I've waited a long time to give you this. Yeah, because wigs make your head hot and itchy. I say with a beanie on, but like wigs are meant to like stick to your head, you know? The beanie must only be worn in times of great need or on a Sunday. We did it. Yeah, Clark already steals all my clothes. It's fine. Do they fit? Not necessarily, but we're getting there. Ba, ba. That's a great pile of books right there. This? It's The Art of Dead Cells, The Art of Zelda, art book for Final Fantasy VII, the first volume of Witch Hat Atelier, the Dungeon World Player's Guide, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead by Tom Stoppard, a Dorothy Parker poetry book. Yeah, it's eclectic over there. How's the frog music doing for you? Oh my gosh, so good. I actually haven't told chat about that yet. I've commissioned a bunch of music, chat. And Jolene Kaur in chat made one of the songs. And I just got the finished version. It's so good. Should have kept it a secret. No, it's fine. Your song turned out so good. I love it. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. We've seen Kelly working on hers. I know. Yeah, well, originally Kelly was like, do you want everyone to like keep their songs a secret? And I was like, honestly, everybody can just do them on stream if they want. Like, I don't mind. Kelly's great. I love her so much. And I'm very delighted that she put me in touch with you and everybody else. So. Well, I've done songs in the past. I've done a bunch of songs. I was telling Kelly, because Kelly was like, yeah, I watched your I watched your Eevee song on stream, and I was like, no. Not because I hate that song. I cannot watch the videos though. I can't watch the videos anymore. I don't. Any video I've been in where I've rapped, sang, anything, I cannot watch them. I can listen to them, and still enjoy them for the most part. There are a couple of them where I'm like, man, I really botched that. Like that did not sound good. But most of them I'm still pretty happy with. Musically, I just cannot watch the videos. Anytime somebody's like, oh, I watched that video of yours on stream, I'm like, no, delete the VOD! I still listened to the Zelda one until it was taken off of Spotify. They take all of Hayam Ron's song, or I guess Ron would have had to be the one to do it, right? Did Ron take all of his music off of Spotify? Did you actually read the books or collecting them with the intention of reading them? I have read everything that's down there. The art books, I don't read the art books really. Like I'll read some descriptions sometimes, or like if there's like conceptual blurbs where I'm like, wow, that turned out so cool. Like I'll read the blurb, but for the most part, art books I just flip through. But everything else that's down there, yeah, I've read all of it. Yeah, we have a Dark Souls art book, but that one's inside. That one we actually use as like a coffee table book. No, a bunch of the stuff that I was in the old YouTube days have been scrubbed, which sucks. I was talking about this with Erin because I was asking her if she still did editing at all. Because she was like a full-time editor for YouTube, right? For years. And I was asking her if she ever edited anymore. And she was like, well, what sucks is even if I wanted to get an editing job, I don't have any proof that I've done any editing because everything has been deleted. Which is so shitty. Like her portfolio is just gone, you know? Anyways, yeah. Any music that I sing on or am involved with going forward, I want to make sure that I have like a high quality version that I keep just in case something happens, you know, so that that song doesn't just vanish. I don't necessarily think that like Kelly would suddenly delete all of the songs that she's made, but what if, you know, like what if that's something she wants to do down the line? I don't know. Just have to do a Taylor Swift and re-record everything. So all of the Hayam Ron songs, I did like the rapped section. So he would make these songs and there would be a section that had a rap in it, and he had me come on to do those a lot. And they were always so fun. I loved recording with Ron. He was just such a he was a really good director. He was really good at like helping you get to where he wanted you to be, you know? And those were always so fun to record. I loved them. I would not have the ability to remake any of that. When or how do we get to hear any of these songs? The ones that I've commissioned, I will start using them. I'm waiting until a couple more. Jolene's was the first one to get finished, so I'm waiting for a couple more of them to come to me in their final form, and then start using them. Basically, the original thought was, I know a lot of people that make music, and Kelly and I are really good friends, and I knew that Kelly knew or knows a lot of people that make music. And I was like, to be honest, have gotten to the point where I'm really sick of like worrying about whether music that I'm using is ever going to get dinged. So I reached this point where I was like, I love commissioning art. Why can't I commission music? Why couldn't I just commission my own music to use on my streams? And then be like supporting like cool, you know, indie music artists that I know or that I'm adjacent to. Like that would be awesome. So now we're here and I've commissioned a bunch of music. I don't know how to pronounce this name either. My name is a nod to Machinima of the olden days. Oh my gosh. I see. So it's like Inima Mosh. It's Machinima, but with the mush put at the end instead. I had to look at your name for a minute to figure it out. Got it. No, I don't think that they mean the MCN. I think they mean actual Machinima. Like what Machinima actually is. But correct me if I'm wrong. That mug looks hard to clean. It's not. It's all smooth inside. The whole thing is smooth, honestly. It's not hard. It's got a big opening. I think if the opening was smaller, it would be a pain in the ass. But like, I've never had trouble getting a sponge in there. To animate with machine. Machinima. It says lawsuit. Bro. I have to finish Dracula. We got so far in that book. Someone was like, you should just start it over. No. No. How many years has it been since we did Dracula? We haven't done Dracula since I moved here. So like 2.5 years, I think. I need the cursed Arthur PNG one last time. That's so dour. Just one more time, please. I know. I won't delete it. I'm not gonna delete the reward in there. It has to sit there until I suck it up and read the rest of Dracula. January 30th, 2023. Yep. Do you ever look at a tab that you opened the night before or maybe a couple of days ago and go, what was I doing? I just went to close just a search engine tab where I had searched sexy food song. Because Kelly and I were talking about how a lot of times songs are use like some kind of a metaphor or imagery to imply sexual things without explicitly saying sexual things. And I was like, yeah, like in that song, like in the song with the guy where he's talking about food. I was like, the sexy food song. And I was trying to find it and I literally couldn't. And I was shocked that it didn't come up because I feel like it was the only sexy food song that I could think of. Was it Justin Timberlake's Takeout? No, but that did pop up. See, there are so many, it turns out. There are so many songs that are about food, but food is in quotation marks, you know? So... No one has said it so far, if that helps. Yeah. So I just had a tab open that said sexy food song. I also, here, let's go through my tabs. Next tab is for a tattoo studio that's really close to me, where the person's their flash pages are entirely goofy ass mushroom people. And I was like, hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a sec. Could get a few little goobers on me, maybe. I can't show you because it would dox me. This place is very close to me. Just trust me. But I could get a few little goofy men on me, is all I'm saying. You goofy mushroom boys. Isn't it your birthday soon? So true. Here's what's hard for me right now is when I'm interested in getting something in color, I'm not sure where to put it because I have so much black and gray done now. And I like the idea of sprinkling little colorful things amongst the black and gray, but I'm like hesitant to start doing that. Like, right? Like we've got all this, right? And all this shit back here. Like if in one of these spots I just put like a weird little like a weird little mushroom cartoon. It would like not aesthetically fit at all. And maybe that's what I need to like break the spell and be like, fuck it, I'll just put whatever I want wherever. But then I'm like, maybe I should just choose a different place to start putting those. But eventually they will have to meet each other, you know? That's the point, is little anti-aesthetic mushrooms. That's true. They are not cute. They're weird. They're very weird little mushroom cartoons. No, everything is on my back and this arm. So I have a lot of real estate. While I was on the plane, I was double checking the name of it. While I was on the plane, I gotta let you know my 5-year-old is sulking because you're not currently a mushroom. Oh, sweetheart, I'm so sorry. Tomorrow I will be, I promise. When I was on the plane, one of the things that I like to do if I know I'm gonna have some time to kill, and this was one of those rare flights where the 3 of us were split up, and so I was on my own and Sam and Clark were in a different part of the plane. I was on my own, like, I guess I'll put something on. And if it's a longer flight, I like to see what TV shows they have, because occasionally I stumble onto a TV show that I really enjoy, where they have like multiple episodes of it, right? So I started watching a show called Brilliant Minds, which is it's a medical procedural starring Zachary Quinto. I always feel like I'm pronouncing his last name wrong. I wasn't expecting a whole lot because I hadn't heard of it before, but it's actually really interesting because it's about a neuroscientist. And I don't think I hadn't ever really considered that psychiatry and psychology would have to work so closely with neuroscience. So like his job basically is to determine what needs to be tackled with therapy and what can be tackled with like surgery, right? Like identifying the cause of something neurological that's happening. It's really interesting. It's a really interesting show. And a lot of those shows, they'll have, you know, like problem of the day, but then there's also an overarching like issue or story that's happening that spans all of the days, right? It's classic procedural format. So the overarching storyline is basically like him tackling how he feels about what happened neurologically with his dad and how it affected him as a child. It's a really interesting show. I got like 4 episodes in and then I had the worst headache of my life and had to sleep. But I keep finding myself thinking about it and going, I should probably go back and watch more of that and see how it winds up by the end of season 1. Just like to see how I feel about it, you know? The way you describe it makes it sound kind of misleading. What do you mean? It's a drama. It's a procedural drama TV show, right? So the format is like he's working at like a general hospital, and you know, someone gets brought in. They're hallucinating or they're behaving differently than usual. And then the psych team and the neurology team have to sort of work together to figure out, like, is this a psychology issue or is this like a neurological problem with the brain that can be addressed with surgery or whatever. Figuring out the root cause, but it has to be like they have to work together to understand the root cause, right? So in that way, it winds up being really interesting because I can't recall another show that's tried to show that relationship before in a hospital. Working out if it's hardware or software, kind of, I guess, yeah. I haven't seen The Pit. No. It sounds stressful. I've heard it's great, but it's kind of like Uncut Gems. I'm not saying that they're similar at all in topic or presentation or anything like that, but Uncut Gems is a movie that has been recommended to me so many times with the caveat of you will be stressed out the whole time you're watching it. And I can say to myself pretty confidently, I don't want to be stressed out the whole time I'm watching a movie. You know? I don't want that. So I don't know that I'll ever take the time to watch that. If the pitch for a movie or a show or something is like, this is gonna make you deeply uncomfortable the entire time, but it's great, the likelihood is that I won't give it a shot because I'll never be in a headspace where I'm like, I think I want to tackle that show / movie. Yeah, I think we were talking about that on Geekenders because JP watched The Pit and recommended it. And I think that he said this on Geekenders, but it might have been a conversation separate from Geekenders, but saying that it's interesting seeing how doctors and nurses react to shows like that, because either they'll have a strong interest in watching it, or they'll be like, really do not want to be watching an intense medical show when I'm not at work, you know? Oh, that's interesting. I watch stuff like that when I'm already stressed, and so I can redirect my stress into the show. That's an interesting idea. Yeah, maybe next time that I'm like, I'm so stressed out I might barf, just throw on something. Yeah, that's fair. I loved The Bear, but I've never worked in a kitchen. I also feel like some of the episodes of The Bear were really up their own ass. But overall, I really enjoyed it. I'm saying this as an ex-theater kid. I've watched many things that are up their own ass and enjoyed them just fine. So it's not a deal breaker. It's just sometimes you like hone, you hone that part of your brain, you know. Ex-theater kid, what happened? I'm not in theater school anymore. I'm an adult that graduated. I know, it's crazy. I loved The Pit, but I love medical shows and I hate hospitals. So I guess it's exposure therapy. You explain up their own ass. That's fair. So there's a lot of writing whiplash that happens in The Bear. This is my personal opinion. And again, I don't think that there's necessarily anything wrong with them doing this, but tonally, you'll have episodes where a lot is going on and they've incorporated like character drama into everything that's going on, right? Those tend to be considered the most stressful episodes. The episodes where like the kitchen is active, everyone's pissed at each other, they're trying to get, table service done, etc., right? They incorporate everything together. And then there are the episodes where people would go on Twitter and be like, Jesus Christ, nothing happened in that episode. What happened in the episode was character study. And again, that's fine, but it winds up feeling like too much. Like these are long episodes, and to have an entire episode that's just a conversation with like two characters, like there's too much tonal whiplash here, right? Like I needed there to be a back and forth in energy, but instead we had a one-act play between two of the characters that you guys just really wanted to write like a huge scene with. And I think those are the sorts of episodes that make people be like, all right, I don't, where it feels like the writers wrote them more for themselves than for the audience. Does that make sense? like the Christmas. I love the Christmas episode. I actually love the Christmas episode, but there's legitimately episodes where it's like two characters and they mostly do all of the talking, right? I feel like those are conversations that could have been edited down. And I'm not a writer. And I know that writing is a really difficult job. But I think the reason that people have been getting annoyed with The Bear is because you'll have episodes that combine the drama and the character study and the interactions with everything else that's going on in the show. And then you'll have episodes that crawl, where you're just desperately crawling through the whole thing, You're not a writer or a doctor. A lot of revelations today. But again, that's my personal feelings. I feel like those episodes could have been edited differently, or the writing could have been more contained and still had those like sweet moments, those revelatory moments, the moments where characters were like brutally honest with each other in a way that made you go, finally someone said this to this person, right? Like, I feel like you can still have all of those moments without it being the entire episode. That's my feeling. How do you feel about Succession? I got really annoyed with Succession. I think I'm really over the look at this horrible rich white family shows. I think I'm done with those. We watched a few episodes of Succession, a few episodes of Yellowstone. Like they're all like, they have interesting characters in them. But I think I'm kind of over them. Maybe I'm not explaining myself well. I'm fine with dialogue. I'm fine with dialogue. It's okay. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it clearer how, like, what I'm trying to say, but for me, it depends on how much the awful rich family suffers. That's fair. It feels sort of adjacent to when like people who read a lot, when they read a book and they go, it feels like this wasn't edited down enough. Like it feels like they released this book with 400 pages in it just to be able to say that it's 400 pages, but it could have been 200, you know? Sometimes that's how I feel when I watch a play or watch a show or something. Again, it doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it or think that the writing was good. It's that I feel like it could have cooked longer. Dragon Ball Z could have been 2 episodes. Oh my god. Oh my god. The ancient conversations resurged. All right. Looks like we're at time. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I believe we'll be able to do normal streams this week, starting at normal time, not summertime. So, aiming for 11 a.m. start time. All of next week. Fingers crossed. Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me... Oops. See who's streaming right now. And then I'll read off the activity feed. I think Candy's doing some art. Yeah, we've got Sunforge tonight, Hellions tomorrow. No deadbeats this week, but that's not streamed anyway. The second I started to say it, I was like, that doesn't matter to you. That doesn't matter to you. Alrighty. PZN, thank you for the 102 months. Jane Valentine, thank you again for the raid. I appreciate it. If you stuck around after a raid, I hope you had a nice time. Octo, thank you for the 98. Bobby the Dragon for the 54. Nachos for the 86. Mace Windu for the 43. K Samurai for the 52. Junior is Junior for the 57. April for the 85. Inimamak, thank you so much for subscribing. Welcome to the Cat Gang. Nalis for the 5 years. Happy anniversary. Thank you so much. Zinthar for the 21. Shaper Mario for the 28. Dr. Jazzfist for the 93. And Char Lizard Chan for the 1 year. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, guys. I joined just at the end. I'll stream again tomorrow. Marlowe's, thank you for the 69 months. Yes, I just said there will be Sunforged. Yep. All right, let's go say hi to Candy. Go say hi. Spread love and joy. I will see you guys tomorrow. Unless you watch Sunforged, then I'll see you tonight. Yeehaw! Take care, everybody. Thanks for the convo. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.